This is what happened. I walked in here and he had set up a guitar and I was like,
No.
You ask him.
That is not.
And then we had a conversation. I was like, you cannot ask him to sing.
Okay,
You cannot
now
ask
I'm
him to play
embarrassed.
music. There were so many times where I would be around people and they'd be like, Flip.
It's the best that it has been in a long time.
You really want to open this with you singing?
Best life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things,
With Shawn and Andrew.
a podcast all about couples.
And the things they go through.
Today, we have Ben Rector, who is the actual artist of the song Andrew was singing.
Sorry, Ben. When you listen to this, you're not going to be proud of my rendition of your song. But listen, you know those people that you try to be friends with for a really long time, and then you get a shot, and then you blow that shot at being friends with them? That's our experience with Ben Rector. I have been a fan of his
Forever.
music for a long time.
Yes.
And
Andrew geeked out when he came to the studio because he was like, babe, he's showing up. Babe, he's pulling in. Babe, he's walking up to the door. Babe.
so Ben Rector is a musician, lives in Nashville. We interviewed him solo. His wife Hillary was not able to join us, but Ben is coming out with a new album. Actually, it just released. It's called The Joy of Music. And on it, you will find amazing songs like Living My Best Life, which is what I was just singing. He does collaborations with Snoop Dogg, Dave Koz, a wide range of people. But Ben is amazing. A couple of his songs have really positively impacted my life and perspective. Like Love Like This is a song that I listen to with my kids, and it brings me to tears every time. So
Our kids?
what?
Our kids?
My kids specifically.
Your kids. Yeah, the other ones you have. We also talked through the inspiration behind his music, the process of him creating music, how he got into it, how his wife and his family are affected by it, how he met his wife, all fun things.
This was, for all intents and purposes, a pretty casual conversation, but I do think one of my favorite parts was him describing his creative process, and he doesn't view this as like a magical event. When he writes a good song, he views it as a consequence of daily practice. So anyway, I hope you find this interview interesting and insightful. And we'll also link his new album called The Joy of Music, which is out now anywhere you listen to music, down below. But before we get started, please subscribe to the show and rate it on whatever platform that you're listening to. And thank you, Ben, so much for joining us. Without further ado, we bring you Ben Rector. Wow. Ben Rector, what a pleasure it is to have you here in person.
I'm so glad to be here. I feel like we should have got the stuff already because I feel like I'm in deep on ping pong already.
Yeah.
This whiskey, I'm in.
Your name is a household name in our house.
Oh, thank you.
I said household a
That
lot.
does feel redundant.
That
I
does.
was worried you're just gonna say household name and I was gonna be like, that's a little generous. When you say in your house, I was like,
It
okay.
is Ben Rector is a household name.
Depends on the household. Some households will say yeah.
Our daughter, who is 2, knows you.
Love it.
Yes.
Thank
She
you.
sings your songs. She's learning the piano with Andrew for your songs.
Love it.
It's just Ben at our house.
Tell her thanks for listening.
So, yeah, let's just get the awkward introduction out of the way. First of all, we have met once before. Do you remember this?
I don't. I feel
Andrew,
so bad.
you don't put someone on the spot like that.
No.
Well, now I definitely-
We're close enough to do that.
Jeez.
I thought he was going to say yes, that he did
Andrew
remember it.
Dean.
But no, anyway, it was on one of your Monday morning calls. I was dropping off.
Yes, I do remember
and
that.
I said, Ben!
No, I totally do remember that. 100%. Okay.
And I interrupted.
So the awkward person you remember screaming
That
at
was
you while you're
me.
on a business call is my husband.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Anyways, I've started answering that question honestly because I feel like I can always tell that people can tell if I try to like smooth it over. They're like, do you
Yeah.
remember whatever? I'm always like, not always. Sometimes I would be like, yeah, and I can see the wheels
Yeah.
turning with like you don't.
Yeah.
So I've just started just being like straight up and like, oh, I don't remember that. Not that that happens to me all the time, but I do totally remember now that you said that. You're driving a truck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember I had
Wow.
I think I had my headphones on and this
Yeah.
guy like pulled over and I was like, what's about to happen right now? He's like, dude, what's up? But I recognized you immediately. I was like, what's up, dude? Because we had talked on Instagram and I was like, oh, awesome.
Because the reason we had talked on Instagram was I tried, and I don't know how successful I was. I'll let you determine this. To sing one of your songs, Love Like This, which,
Yes.
by the way, for those listening, if you have not heard this song, we're going to link it. It brings me to tears when I listen to it with my kids. I played it on piano. You didn't make that song easy to play,
No,
bro.
it's not an easy song.
Yeah.
Not an easy song.
But anyway, I recorded it or whatever. I sang it. And Anyway,
Much respect.
thank you. And I think you said, good job, which I'll take.
And honestly,
Yeah.
anybody that's like, I'm so bad at trying stuff that I don't feel like great about. Like anybody that's like, hey, check this out. I'm like, that's sick. Very awesome.
I will say though, we have, I don't know if you've heard of a Tony for kids. It's like this recording box. You basically like put something on top of it and it plays music, but you can put whatever music, you can like preload it. Oh. So he's preloaded
Love like
his
this.
Ben Rector covers and our 2-year-old plays it all the time. And I love you so much.
Shawn threw that thing away. She was
So
like,
his music is genius.
I take the batteries out of our kids' stuff.
I'm just going to switch it someday and be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's actually, yeah.
Jane will be like, this isn't working. I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, so I have been trying to get you on the show for a while.
I'm so glad that we could figure it out.
We're here. I've also been trying to get your song Duo as the theme song for this show.
Oh, done.
So I spoke with Greg, your manager.
He great. Dude, was he not like sounds great?
He wasn't. No, well, it's complicated because
Andrew.
songwriting is.
I'm going to call you out as your wife.
Oh,
you
wait.
are really putting this guy on the spot.
I'm setting this up to set up his career.
This
Is like
is totally fine. I did write Duo with two other
Feels
guys.
so uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't talked to Greg about this, but I would bet what's actually happening. Sometimes other people's publishers can be weird about stuff.
yeah.
And
That's a sitch.
Well, you know what? I'll talk to Greg after this.
That
Like,
wasn't
let's
even.
just make it
That
happen.
wasn't the theme of why I even was even bring that up. Greg,
What
from my
else?
understanding,
Yeah.
Greg is this legendary music manager.
He actually is.
He's
Yeah.
big time
Yeah.
and was like some hotshot in like Kellogg's School of Business. Came out of retirement because Ben was such a talent. He was like, I want to manage this guy.
That's
Ben.
incredible.
So basically, what happened is I stopped working with the last group that managed me, and the guy that I have made the last couple records with was like, you got to talk to Greg Latterman. And management is like a tough needle to thread. It's just like, it's hard to find someone who has the bandwidth and is available that you really want to work with, you feel like can help you. And I had actually met Greg like 3 years earlier, or maybe 2 years earlier, and he had kind of been like, oh man, I always wished we could have worked together, but I don't do music anymore. And I remember being like, dang, that was awesome. And so when I talked to John Fields, who's the guy that I make the records with, he's like, you got to talk to Greg. And it actually worked out like super serendipitously. I was initially like, oh man, this is probably not going to work. And it's actually been really great. Like he's a really smart guy. Glad to work with him.
Are you independent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I feel like it's so funny at this point, I've done this for long enough that used to be like super novel. And now like a lot more people are independent, and like everything else in the world, like everything is changing like a million miles an hour. So it is kind of unique to do it
Because you're so good and talented.
but thank
No,
you.
but seriously.
to do it at a reasonably high level, fewer people are independent, but a lot more people than used to be are now independent. So basically all that means is like, it sounds like it's like super complicated. It isn't. Just basically like I own my records and my publishing. If you sign to a record label, they own your records. You're no longer independent. They're basically like your bank, and they're promoting you and stuff.
Not to be like dramatic here, but that was all made very like public knowledge, and we kind of got that lesson from Taylor Swift.
Yep. There you go.
The whole like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Which is great that you own your music.
Yeah, it really is. And that's so, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that's like unheard of, because it would basically be like the people who are the gatekeepers to everything, whether that's like having your CD in Target or like being on the radio. That was all record labels. And as everything has changed, it's not as crazy. So now, like, I don't know what the percentage would be, but like people that you listen to, some of them are independent, not most of them, but some of them. But like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that was a lot more rare than it is now.
So I have a lot of questions about your music and your lyrics, because
Great.
that's one of our favorite things in our house to talk about.
Love it.
But before we do that, I want to talk about the joy of music. It's launching. It's coming soon.
Yes. So basically the record will be out March 11th, and 3 songs are out now. And then another song, I don't think we've said this, is going to come out, I think February 11th.
Like in a week and a half?
Yeah. Or
2
maybe,
weeks?
Maybe it's like right before Valentine's Day. I should
Okay.
learn this. It's probably 2 Fridays from now, and one more song will come out, and then the record's March 11th.
Coming out around Valentine's is like a romantic song.
It is kind of.
Okay.
It's like, and it's actually it's sort of romantic, but it's not like. Yeah, it's romantic.
It's not like a breakup song.
No.
Okay.
It's called Steady Love, so it's
Cute.
yeah. It's more like probably for people that are like in a committed relationship, more
Okay.
like, you know, finding a steady love instead of being just like
And like a Cardi B, like WAP type of vibe, like different.
I mean, you know, there's
Oh my God.
there's WAP vibes in there.
Oh my! You are on a different level.
expecting. I'm excited to be here.
I know. You're like a child right now.
Here's
Not a ton of WAP.
okay.
Do you listen to WAP, babe?
Just don't use that as the tag. That's gonna be it. It's gonna be
Ben
like,
Rector.
check out the podcast. A little bit of WAP.
Yeah.
Then Greg would be like, "Hey guys."
Can we not publish that? How do you describe the theme of your music, Ben?
So I think people have described it this way, and I, after that, have been like, yeah, that's probably right. I think that there's like it's usually some nostalgia, whether that's like sonic nostalgia or like the lyrical themes, but I feel like I end up usually kind of like celebrating normal life a little bit. It's kind of like, you know, ordinary life through the lens of like pop music, which I thought was an astute observation of some people that have said that. I'm never like, I'm not like, I'm going to set out to write that kind of music. That's just like what kind of comes out. So, yeah, that's probably what I would say.
We've had the privilege of interviewing a few different artists, and I'm fascinated by lyrics because we have talked to artists before who necessarily didn't have to like connect with their lyrics. It was just kind of, they shopped around, and no matter what they were going through in life, they would sing about whatever.
Yep.
And then we've talked to artists who everything is personal. Everything's a direct reflection. What would you say? Where do you land? And
I would say I'm probably like 80-20, maybe 70-30 towards like real life autobiographical. I don't, there's almost nothing that I've released that's just like, oh, that's just like, has nothing to do with me. But a lot of it might not be like my life exactly. I would say it's almost like if I was like a painter, it's not necessarily like, this is my backyard. Like if you saw like beautiful painting of mountains, you wouldn't be like, oh, your backyard's lovely. But like, it's maybe a way that I see the world or way that I like observe things. But it's rare that like, the only example of that would probably be like Range Rover, which is a couple
amazing
of songs
song,
ago.
by the way.
And that's, I wanted to release that song, but I knew it wasn't going to fit on this record because this record has like a strong theme that's like real, and I was like, that's, everyone's just gonna be like, what is this? But I just thought it was so fun. But
It's
so
a
generally,
bop, dude.
I really like it. I'm glad. Thank you for saying
we
that.
had it on repeat for a while.
Honestly, I was so I wrote that, and then another guy that I wrote it with recorded it, and I was like, I kind of want to record this too, because I thought it was so fun. But yeah, so that's an example of like, that's kind of like me like having fun with the topic. But most of the time, it's like related or like tangentially related to my life, probably.
So like the song "Making Money," like in you, like would just kind of be purely
Deep cuts.
like.
No, honestly,
it's just that's just like that's something that like you don't relate to.
So
Just-
I'll be real. That's actually like I'm joking some in that song, but I'm also like being like a little bit honest with like some of the. I'm not being honest about like. I can't remember the lyrics. It's been a long time.
I can sing them for you.
Yeah, I know.
Please don't.
No.
No, but so that's kind of like a funny, like, you know, that's me like being a little bit sarcastic. I'm not like, yep, this is actually what I think about this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be a little bit honest in that song.
Sean's dream car is a Range Rover, so I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of
Really?
song
I
is
know.
written-
I'm very well aware.
It's just no hard feelings in anybody.
Here's why I think I relate to your music so much, because we, in a way different sense, you know, we create videos. Nostalgia might be the right word, of like family and like I don't know. It's like the vlogging world, and your music is kind of the more distilled musical, some would say better version of what we do. Seriously, because it's like you capture in such a beautiful way, like love like this, that moment of holding your child early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that feeling of this is what it's about is what we try to communicate, and you do it so beautifully.
Yeah, that's really nice of you. And my thing is, I feel like I'm not great at some people, like, their appeal, like what they're good at is like, I'm like so awesome, such a badass, check me out. Like, I just don't have that card to play really. And I think with my music, I want people to be like, oh, like I'm in that song. Like that is about me. And I feel like there's a ton of people that make great art that is, about other stuff or about like maybe more aspirational, like we're going out Friday night, whatever. And to me, I'm just there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like I'm not going to do an especially great job of that. And I feel like there's not a ton of people that are like, hey, what if there was like pop music about like, real life? Like, yeah. I don't see a ton of people doing that. And so that's all that I'm really good at. So not saying I'm really good at it. That's all I'm like adept at.
Today's episode is brought to you by Athletic Greens.
We swear by this. We use it literally every day. We have gotten every friend of ours hooked on it. We've gotten my parents hooked on it. We promote it. We basically live and breathe Athletic Greens.
We have a couple of people staying with us. We woke up and had a collective Athletic Greens supplement time together.
We did.
It was great. Everybody loved it. But Athletic Greens is a daily supplement that has over 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right.
It is the healthy addition to your daily routine that helps you be your better self. They make it so convenient for you because they make travel packs, so you can literally just throw it in your backpack wherever you go, whether it's to take the kids to the park or to go on a trip. All you have to do is drop it in your bag.
That's right. And this multivitamin is in the form of a greens powder. So if you've ever tried greens powder, you know that the taste can be, wild sometimes. But What's interesting about Athletic Greens is they have this really healthy mixture that has a pretty good taste.
Yeah, it's kind of like tropical flavored. Yeah. You would say like there's pineapple in it. It definitely tastes like a greens powder, but it's like tropical, which is nice.
But it's something to look forward to actually every time. It's a
little suggestion by the one and only Lexi. Put some lemon in it and it tastes like a green lemonade.
Now we're rocking and rolling, baby. But right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop of Athletic Greens and a cup of water every day, and that's it. There's no need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/EastFam.
Again, that's athleticgreens.com/EastFam to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We'll also link it down below.
Okay. Our show is a couple things.
Yep.
I have to know about your beautiful wife, Hillary.
She is the best. I mean that wholeheartedly. I feel like I just like her. I like being around her. She's very smart. She's funny. Not like, let me like tell you jokes funny, but she's just like really quick. Does not care that I do music at all. Would be just as happy if I was like, I'm a gardener. I mean, I think she would want to be like, can we like pay for stuff? But yeah, she's great. She's smarter than I am, and she's a great mom. Our life is total chaos right now, so she's doing a great job. We have a 4-year-old daughter, and then we had twins a year and a half ago.
This is Andrew's dream in life, is to have twins.
Is it? All right. It was funny. I usually try to be pretty straightforward, and people early on would be like, how was it? Or how is it? And I'm just like, it's bad. It is so bad. They're really cute now. But for a while, I was like kind of joking, kind of not joking. I wouldn't say it was bad. People would be like, how is it? I'd be like, I'd recommend having kids one at a time. But she's done so great. She's awesome. But our life right now is really chaotic. It's crazy.
A toddler and twins is a lot.
Yeah.
We have a toddler and one.
Yeah.
I mean, toddler and twins is different.
It really is. It's
and
like,
are they crawling or walking now?
Oh, they're everywhere. They're like, they are all over. Actually, I didn't say this on social media, not that this is like something, but Roy actually broke his the two of the bones in his leg because I dropped him carrying him up the stairs, and so he's been clunking around in a boot. It is.
No.
I was mortified. It was like at the very top of the stairs, and like the last two steps, I just like caught my foot, and you know how you like reflexively do that. So basically, he's totally fine, but you can hear him. That's the only good thing about the boot. Is
You
it's
can hear him. Where is he? He's upstairs.
He's right there. Bert is just like stealth mode. You're always like, has he run out of the house? Yeah. Roy is just like clunking around. But they're really great kids. But right now, our whole life is just like make it to 8 p.m. And then you're like,
and then you get an hour before you just pass out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll watch like one, maybe two episodes of, we were watching Succession. Now we're watching Ozark. And it's just like, that's it. And then I wake up in the morning and do it again. Yeah. So she is who I would choose to do all of that with, even though it's like kind of a wild season.
So you being the like super artsy, thoughtful, creative guy that you are, I'm curious, how did you propose to Hillary?
It was, I also feel like there's a little bit of like a thing when you're an artist, everyone's like, you're probably so romantic. Yeah. And I'm not really. Like, I'm not good at gift giving. I care about her a lot, but I'm not like a gestures guy. I wish I was better at that. Maybe I should just try to be better at that. There's like this little chapel at the University of Arkansas called the Rock House, and we like put a bunch of candles in there. I think we were like going for a walk maybe after dinner, and it was like, oh, let's go in here. And I proposed, no big deal. But it wasn't. I wish I could clear that up. I feel like people often, I'll see in comments being like, assuming that I'm just this like deeply romantic person, and I'm like average romantic. I don't know.
Hot question from social media based off your recent album. The character that's featured on the album is maybe like a bloated Elmo would be a fair way of describing it.
It's like it's 700-pound Elmo.
First of all, I want to know the origin story behind that, because I see him everywhere.
Yes.
Is it Hillary dressed up though?
Okay, so this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to believe this. And I know it's going to be like, I don't believe you.
What?
It's Joy is this like giant, kind of like a Muppet. So basically, I know it's hard to believe. There's nobody in there. It's just Joy. I know that's ridiculous. And I'll give you the origin story. Basically, I knew the record was going to be called The Joy of Music. And I started thinking about like a couple of the songs. I was like, I gotta make videos for these. And kind of through like the like pandemic when nothing was going on, I just kept kind of like workshopping it. And then I was like, oh man, I want to like, what if I had like a mascot for this record? And what if it was like a big like Muppet? So basically we talked to, I was like, who's the best at this? Jim Henson's Creature Shop. They're the best at that. They build Sesame Street and the Muppets and like every movie that has anything like that. So contacted them, and they were like, we could do it, but it's really expensive. And I was like, maybe somebody else could do it. I looked all over the internet, learned all about mascots. It's like, nobody else can do it. Called Jim Henson's Creature Shop back, like, let's do this. Drew sketches. Their guy drew sketches back and forth. And they started building a thing that looked like Joy. And we got to the very end, and they were like, you know what's crazy? You're not going to believe this. There's a guy that looks just like this. He lives in Nashville. I was like, I wish you just told me this earlier.
Oh my gosh.
So basically, Joy lives in Nashville, sometimes hangs out at my house, and that's the story. Very large, much larger in person than you would expect.
His eyes kind of
are
a little unpredictable.
Yeah, they kind of spin around.
Which do you have more fun with, writing the song or doing like the music video for Living My Best Life?
Yes, my favorite thing is the writing. That's like I would do that for free. That's the part that I'm like, just would do for fun. Everything else is a little bit more like, like I have to like work myself up for that. I really enjoyed making the videos. It was a really intense process. But my favorite part of the whole thing, if it was like, nobody cares about your music anymore, no one streams your music anymore, you have to go get a job, I would like still write songs like for fun. I would actually not probably perform. I picked a terrible line of work for that. I feel like most people would perform for free and don't like writing songs. I'm kind of the opposite.
Interesting.
And I do enjoy it, but like during the pandemic, if you'd been like, are you really missing shows? I'd be like, no, I'm not.
Wow.
Have you written all of your songs?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so
Do you write for others?
Some, yeah. And like, I'll do it mostly when someone like, when an artist is like, hey, I want to write with you for my thing.
Okay.
And I do that sometimes, but the people that like write every day, just generally like for hopefully someone will record the song, it's like a sport, and it's almost like, really it's more like a league where it's like you like put in a bunch of time and hope to like slowly like trickle towards the top. And I just don't really I'm doing like playing shows and like doing my own thing. So most of the time if I'm writing for somebody else, it's like because a person is like, I want to write with you for my record, which I do that, but not as much as I write for myself.
Are any of your songs about your wife?
Yes. Yeah. I would say they are, not all of them though. Like, some of them are sort of like an amalgamation of like kind of her, kind of love in general, not like another person, but like if I only wrote just about like my personal life, I feel like very quickly you'd be like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. Cause it's just like, there's not that complicated of a thing. So yeah, I would say like she's in all of them. Not every single one is like, this is about Hillary Rector, my wife.
Yeah.
Currently.
trying to figure out what the word amalgamation means, but
pulling things together. I think I used that right. I don't know.
You did.
Edit that out if I didn't.
You did.
Shawn and Dave Cause go way back, by the way.
I love Dave.
way.
Isn't that random?
He's one of my favorite human beings.
How?
Oh, I don't know if I want to admit this. We were judges together for the Miss America pageant.
Oh my gosh.
12 years ago.
I'm going to text him that. He is the kindest person.
He's the best.
ever.
He's a great
And
guy.
no joke. So that was back in 2009, 2010, a couple years ago.
2
right?
years ago.
2 years ago.
I met him.
We were on a random flight in California, and I kept looking over and I was like, this guy looks so familiar. But it had obviously been 10 years. And I kept looking, and I mean, I was creeping hardcore. And I was looking at his backpack, and I saw a saxophone, like a picture of one or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Dave? And he looked over and he's like, Shawn? I was like, oh my gosh.
We talked an entire like 2 hour
Oh my
flight,
gosh, he's
which, you know,
the best.
And I feel like a number of people you meet in entertainment, everybody is nice, but if you were like, do you want to spend a bunch of time with this person? Sometimes I'm like, no, not really.
Yeah.
And I feel like he is one of the people I was like, I want to be friends with you like right now.
Yes.
And I feel like that's so rare among like entertainers, and that's way too harsh. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, you're super nice, but if it's like, do you want to like go get a meal after this?
Yeah.
You'd probably both be like, nah, I don't know. And he's just like such a kind guy, and it was so fun to work with. Like, I just walked away being like, I want to be friends with that guy.
Yeah.
Just such a sweet guy. And honestly, musically, like as good as anyone is at anything. He is like truly a master. Super good.
What is Ben's creative process? Do you have like a method? And it seems like you enjoy the collaborative side of things as well.
Yes. Creative process. It's always like a sliding scale for me of like inspiration and discipline. And anytime it's too far on one side or the other, it doesn't work for a long time. So I do it every day like a job. Like when I'm home, if I'm on shows or anything, like when I was writing, like I write 5 days a week. I'm like, and I think what I wish I could like say to everyone who's like, I'm like kind of interested in songwriting or like whatever. I wish I could just be like, people approach creativity or creative professions like they're like magical. And I want to be like, it's a professional sport. It is not magical. It's not any more magical than like watching like a major league pitcher throw like a great curveball. It's like, that's a crazy trick you can do. And it's like, well, it's not a trick. I've just been practicing this a long time. So like, I do it every day, and I try to like sharpen my tools all the time. And then sometimes that provides like a window of like, wow, this is a great song that came out. And sometimes I'm just like grinding it out and nothing good's happening.
Do you keep them all though? Do you keep all, even the throwaways?
Yeah. Like, so a really good songwriter in town said this better than probably I would have said it. He was like, I don't know if I'm a better songwriter than I used to be. I just chase fewer, I think he said red herrings. Basically like, I don't finish every single song I start. It's almost like you get a better sense of like what has high potential. So like I'm cycling through ideas a ton. So if I like opened up my voice memos, there's like a billion, but like some of them are like an eighth of a song, and I like work on it for like an hour and I'm like, this isn't very good.
So you'll pull out the voice memo app and just play the tune?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I stopped using the normal one. I used this like terrible app that I never should have that like doesn't work very well. I mean, yeah, it's like,
Oh my gosh.
Holy smoke.
I mean,
And if there's-
it's right there.
Jeez.
I've had this phone for like not that long.
If there's one you like, do you save it? Is that just like one you know to go back to?
It just kind of, it's just like, it just keeps rattling
It's
around
there.
in your head.
Okay.
Wow.
It's like, I don't know if you play Wordle. Everyone's doing that now.
Wordle.
It's like whatever you're into, like once it gets in your head,
Yeah.
it's just like gonna rattle around until it's done. There's not very many that I go back and I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about this, and then I finished it and it's really good. Usually your like spidey senses for what is good, they get sharper, and so if you're like, I'm onto something, you're
hooked.
and it's honestly like sometimes it can be bad and like a little obsessive. Like I have to stop working like maybe at like 3 or 4 because I can't sleep. Because like if I
3 or 4 in the morning?
No, 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Oh, I was like,
my gosh,
wow.
no, but like it's that kind of thing. It's just like I can't stop like trying to put it together.
So you work from home?
Yep. Well, there's like I have a separate.
Yeah.
It's like a separate space that you have to go outside to get into.
So do you guys have boundaries or rules within your household of, because of the creative process, it's not 9 to 5. Do you have like boundaries around when you have to stop?
Yeah. I try to treat it like it is like a work day, basically. Like I wake up, I'll get like Jane's breakfast, we get the kids up, and then at 8:30 I go out to my office, and then I'll come back in for lunch, like whenever, and then I'm done when they get up from their naps at like 5.
Nice.
Wow.
So I mean, I'll stop at like 3:30.
Yeah.
I might, like try to ride the Peloton or something. But that's
nice.
And you know, Hillary's great in his understanding. Like if I'm like, well, gosh, this is a great idea, she's like, you can't work on stuff. But like, for me being present and for everybody, I try not to like, and honestly, just for like, I've had periods of time when I was younger where I didn't really have any boundaries. And it's just, I don't end up creating long-term good stuff because I get like so frazzled and burned out. And it's helpful for me to be like, hey, like set this down, pick it up again tomorrow.
I don't know if this is a possible question to answer, but whatever the reason, do you have a favorite song you've created?
Oh, I like, there's a song called The Men That Drive Me Places that I like that one a pretty decent amount, but it's also, it's not like an upbeat, like fun song. If someone was like, play us one song I've never heard of you, I would probably play that one, but I mean, it could be anything. I could maybe give a different answer tomorrow.
Have you ever experienced burnout?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you recover? Just time off?
I just feel like I have to like recalibrate a little bit. I have to like try to like, I'll like ground myself from writing, because that's when I'm saying like a sliding scale between discipline and inspiration. Like if I get too far on the discipline side where I'm just like, I'm doing this all the time and nothing good is happening, I usually will have to step back and be like, hey, at this point, trying hard looks like giving yourself like a second to like step away. Because then what'll happen is like, if nothing good is happening and I'm not going to write a song for a week, that's usually when something just like pops out. So like, I would say it just depends on what part is burning me out. Touring stuff is hard because like everybody gets burned out on that. But yeah, I just try to like not get like out of balance in any sense. And at some level, it's like, well, like, you're not going to do anything sustainably if you're like really out of balance. So like if I start to feel that a little bit, I'll try to like dial it back. It's hard. I don't know.
I love the description of creativity as a discipline. I don't know if you ever heard of the book, The War of Art.
Yeah.
Dude, he talks about the same concept of, you know, like John Williams, the composer who wrote Harry Potter and Jaws and
everything. He's like the dude.
Every day he shows up and writes something, and like that prepares him for writing something great.
And man, I feel like I so wish that people, and I get it, creativity is weird and it's different than like, I don't know, like building something with your hands, like building a house or something. I just totally wish I could be like, hey, this is a professional sport. That's all it is. And I think sometimes creative people like put up a little bit of like a facade of kind of like, oh, now I'm so spacey, whatever. And the more people that I met who were like heroes of mine, it's different brands, but like once you like look under the hood, it's the same. They're like the equivalent of like a marathon runner. They do it in their own way all the time. They're relentless. They're like, there's no one I've met that is just so talented that they can make it happen. And every field is like that. Like talent is like, you know, your like entry fee. And after that's like, who's going to like work the hardest in this? And I truly, really and truly have not met an exception to that rule. I really have. That does it sustainably. There could be people that like magically hit a hole in one and could never do it again. But the people that I like respect and I'm like, you're really good at this, they're all the same. And it's different flavors, but like, surfer dude who's just like, man, I just love this, you know. And then you're like, hey, like cool, like let me like get to know you a little better. It's like, oh, I write every day.
Yeah.
And you're just like, there you go.
Wow. Today's episode is also brought to you by a life changer of a company, and that's BetterHelp.
I couldn't agree more, babe. I wish that BetterHelp had been an option during my career because I love the fact that it's available to everyone, everywhere.
BetterHelp actually helps to assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist.
Yes. So BetterHelp, if you guys aren't aware, is a professional counseling done securely online. They are awesome. You can even start communicating in under 48 hours with your matched therapist. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. Like I said, you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy.
Yes, and it's also more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available, which we love.
So visit betterhelp.com/EastFam. That's better, H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. And our Couple Things listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/EastFam. We'll also link it down below.
Okay, weird question. It just came to me. Did you and Hillary have a wedding?
We did.
What music did you play?
A couple people have asked me, did you sing?
Oh, come on. I thought that was going to be original.
No, a couple people have asked me, did you sing at your own wedding? I'm just like, no, I did not. I didn't do that. I don't even remember what music there was. And that feels weird. Like I should have like, it should be super symbolic, but I feel like on some level, sometimes music to me is like, it's an important part of my life, but it doesn't like invade everything outside of the job part of it. Like I wasn't like, I'm making the playlist. I was just like, yeah.
Do you have a favorite artist? Yourself?
I do, probably the Beatles.
Wow. I mean, that's about as iconic as it gets.
I know it feels like a cop out, but it actually is that. I also love like all sorts of just like guilty pleasure pop music. Like I feel like every musician.
T Swift.
Yeah. Every musician always answers that question hilariously. They're like, I like Lightning Hopkins and a bunch of jazz stuff you never heard of. And it's like you listen to Dave Matthews.
Well, you won a John Lennon songwriting contest.
I did. I had no business entering that. And then
you obviously did. You won it.
Apparently I did. I was a college freshman, I think. And I was just like, wow, that is very sick. I don't know. It's weird to me that I even entered it. That doesn't really seem like me, but I did.
Of all the things that you've accomplished, I mean, Ben, you've been...
We have all your accolades right here, and it's
American Idol, Ellen DeGeneres, World of Dance. Of all the places you've been, experiences you've had, awards you've won, what are you most proud of from a career sense?
From a career, you know what? Real talk. I need to really sharpen these answers because I feel like with the record coming out, I'm going to be doing things like this again. What am I most proud of? You know what? This is going to feel like such a cop-out, but it's not. This is my honest answer. I'm most proud of that I think whenever it is that I stop doing this, that I'll be like, I think I tried my very hardest and put like a good thing out into the world. It was like honest and good. It wasn't cheaply made. It was like a good product in a world of like fast, kind of like cheap things. If I was like making chairs, I'm like, this chair is a good chair. People are going to be like, I like that chair. I hope I'm like proud of the work I did. Because I feel like any of the accolade or award stuff is good, but it never feels like you're done. It's like, I never thought this would happen. And then it happens and you're like, and there's always more. It's like, well, but I didn't like sell out a football stadium. At some point, it's just like, I'm glad that some cool stuff has happened, but I think I'm more glad that I'll be like, hey, I'm really proud of the work I did. You know?
Is your brand, would you say like Christian? The reason I'm asking, because you got some pushback on social media about a cuss word in a song.
Yes, I said grown ass man in a song. Yeah. It was a little off brand.
It's just interesting. Like, I've always had the thought of, it's so much harder to say I'm a Christian artist, and then you throw a cuss word in and it's like the world ends, as opposed to if you're Miley Cyrus and like you sing Amazing Grace, it's like, wow, look, she's
that's honestly, that's a great observation. So when I started out, they were like really tied together. I am a Christian, and when I was like coming out of college, I got that question like all the time. And I think now I've probably like, people that listen to my music, I don't think it's like a mystery, although people are still like, are you? But I also think there's the other side of that where it's like the way I view like faith or the world or whatever has changed a lot since I was like 19 or whatever. For example, I don't have any problem saying grown ass man in a song. Like, I swear sometimes, like I am a grown ass man. I can do that. And so part of me too is like, I never would want to be like vulgar or like just say stuff like to just like make a scene or something. But I also think one reason that I was like, I don't want to make quote unquote Christian music is because some people do a great job of this and are like made to do it. But I've always been like, I just want to be able to be like an authentic, all the way normal, real person. And I sometimes get a little scared of if I ever got like pigeonholed to like, you can only talk about these things. I'd be like, well, like I disagree with some of this. And like, I think a lot of other people do too. And I would love to exist just like as a normal person. And I feel like there aren't a ton of like non-Christian artists who are like, I'm also going to talk about faith some. And there aren't a ton of Christian artists who are like, I'm going to say grown ass man, because guess what? We all do that. Yes. Like, I want to just be the guy that's like, I'm beholden to no one, but I just get to like say what I think about stuff. And so I would say I'm not a Christian artist, like trademark, but like that's a part of my worldview. And honestly, man, I thought a lot about that because I was like, I know, not because I'm worried about it being inappropriate. I just know there's people that are like, I got a kid and we listen to your music and that bothers me. And it's just like, I get it, man, but I made this record for you and not for your kid. So like we made like a kids in the car version of the song. Yeah. Cause I knew people were going to be like kind of bummed. And my wife is so funny. I'm outing her. She is wonderful. And yeah, she's always just like, oh man, those people. I'm like, I know. Because if you follow that line of logic, like what I really would like to say to those people is just like, I get it. Yeah. Jane was walking around the house singing Grown Ass Man, and I was like, oh, Jane, come on. But I'm also just like, if you're really worried about your kid hearing Grown Ass Man in a song that's about like finding peace in your life and like contentment, then just you'd better buy him some earmuffs and like maybe just like keep them in the living room for the rest of their life, because they're gonna people hear the word ass. People say the word ass around them. And I my personal thing is just like, I'd way rather my kids just be like, they'd be like, Dad, do you say grown ass man? I'd be like, I do, and it's just not that big a deal. Yeah. And but I also understand that like some people are just like, I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to have that conversation. It's like, that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's a good approach.
Yeah.
I agree with that. We had the whole philosophical conversation when he brought up that you got backlash. I was like, come on, but no Christian's perfect. Are you kidding?
Right. And I think, I don't know, what I would hope my kids would glean from like whatever faith Hillary and I have, like I would rather it be like something that can exist in real life and not be like, hey, this is only going to work if you like stay in this tiny box and plug your ears. I would be like, I mean, if someone's like super into Christianity, I'd be like, does that seem like it's going to work very well? Like, probably not. No. So I just like, kids get the kids out there. I don't know.
Today's show is sponsored by Aura Frames. Remember those old clunky digital picture frames that you could only hold like 5 pictures on?
I sure do. They are such a pain to set up. And we actually just received these Aura frames and they're amazing. They're so sleek. They're so beautiful. It's like truly the new way to create digital memories and put them on display. Instead of those old SD cards, you can simply add photos to the Aura app and it instantly goes to your Aura frame. You can add countless memories today. Oprah calls it magic. She's actually featured it on a show, and we call it Aura.
One of the most popular gifts for major holidays like Mother's Day, Aura Frames regularly sell out. So you can get yours at a discount today while it lasts. Right now, our listeners can get ahead of Mother's Day gifting this year and take $20 off on Aura's limited edition matted frame by visiting auraframes.com/EastFam. That's AURA frames.com/EastFam. Terms and conditions may apply.
Every mom on your list will love this gift. I was really excited to receive this from them because we got to test it out before we told you guys about it, and they're beautiful. They come in beautiful packaging. Literally just put a ribbon on the box and it's perfect.
We put ours in the kitchen. It's a great feature to have there.
Remember, get it on this link only at auraframes.com/EastFam.
We'll also link it down below, and let's get back to it.
Do you hope that any of your 3 children become artists?
Wow. No one has ever asked me that.
Yes. I got one.
This is a loaded question because my mom was not stoked that I wanted to be a musician, which I totally understand.
Interesting.
I think
Why?
nobody in my family does any creative work really. It's like super out of the box for my like extended family.
Do you think that's just a stereotype of like artistry?
No, I just, it wasn't, my dad worked at a bank and my mom was a psychologist, and no, it wasn't like, oh, it's like your Uncle Ronnie, real into music. Like that just, it was a weird like lightning strike thing. So I think it was understandably was like nerve wracking for them that I was like, hey, like I'm going to try to be a musician because like nobody from Oklahoma does that. And they're like, oh man, like you're bright. You should do something else, which I totally get that. I think what I'd say about my kids, there is a part of me that's nervous because in my view, it is like a professional sport that they would want to do it and not maybe have the like aptitude to do it at a professional level, but because they're around me doing it, they're just like, yeah, people just do this. When in reality, it's like, oh, like it's like people just play in the NFL. It's like, I mean, like not everybody, like you need to be really fast and big and stuff. So, and they may be like totally have the aptitude specifically for music to do that. That's my only fear, but I wouldn't be like, don't do this. I think for me to do it, I didn't grow up around anybody that was musical. So I was like, I really want to do this. And I feel like in Nashville, like throw a rock and like hit people that are doing it semi-professionally. So I just want to make sure that they're like really want to do it. And I would hope that they, you know, would have the ability to do it, but I don't know. We'll see.
So this is your 10th album?
I can never answer that question. I don't know. Cause there's a few albums that were released like before I was like really doing it that are like, I was in college and it's kind of an album, but it's kind of not. So I would usually count Into the Morning as my first record, but that still means it's a lot. So whatever your notes say is more right than I'm going to be.
I have 11 on my notes.
Well, but then there's like the live album, which I don't know how you
Christmas stuff, the EPs. It's a lot. I don't know what it is.
By the way, the Thanksgiving song is gold. But
Thanks,
what do you hope to accomplish now, or maybe even with this most recent album?
I hope. That's that. These are good questions. These are very good questions. I think it's a really good record. I think it's the best one I've made.
Oh.
And so I just hope that it like gets the shot to do whatever it's supposed to do. I don't even know what that is. I don't have a super clear, like, there's not another mile marker that's like, I just really want that thing. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I hope that it like is seen as like a really great work. And I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't know. we'll see.
I'm excited for it.
Me too. Can you give us a
No,
teaser?
absolutely not.
Of like a 4
we talked about this. You cannot ask that question. No, we talked about this.
I'll give you a teaser. What? Like play a song?
Just like maybe like sing a little bit. Like,
oh, I can't do that. 'Cause it's not even gonna be fun.
No,
you're gonna be like, oh my gosh.
No.
Also, I sing so terribly loud, your microphone would explode.
And I told him that was 1,000% off limits. Oh my gosh.
I'll send you a couple songs. You don't want to hear me just sing a cappella.
This is what happened. I walked in here and he had set up a guitar, and I was like,
no.
You ask him.
That is not for that. That was just because.
And then we had a conversation. I was like, you cannot ask him to sing. You cannot ask him to play music.
I'll send you the songs. Really and truly, I sing so loud it would be uncomfortable. He'd be like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess
we're gonna talk about this later.
Okay.
It's like we've talked about this. Coming from like professional athletics, there were so many times where I would be around people and they'd be like, flip. And I'm like, I'm not just I can't just do it.
I grew up with a kid who's really into gymnastics. He was like very competitive, wanted to go to the Olympics, and we would always ask him to do that.
Yeah.
And his mom was always like, Matt, we don't want to get hurt. And we're always like,
but it's the same thing with like singing. Like it's your profession. It's your art.
If I could do something right now that I thought you'd be like, that was really good, I would do it. I just think you'd be like, oh, cool.
I think we should wait to get the album because it's going to be genius.
I'll send you a couple songs.
I'm excited.
It'll be better than me singing right now.
Sweet.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can check out Ben's new album coming out March 11th.
Yes.
Called The Joy of Music.
Yep.
Ben, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you guys. This is great.
I look forward to future golf outings, ping pong matches, and
you're gonna beat me in ping pong, aren't you? Shoot me straight. You are, right?
It's one of those things that you can't. It's hard. You never know what you're walking into. Like if someone says I'm good at ping pong, they might be good in their little circle.
I think you're probably good. Could you give yourself a handicap, like a golf handicap?
No, can you? What?
I mean, like
is that a thing?
Like in golf, you'd be like, I'm a 3, and like that kind of. You're like, okay, I understand.
I'm probably
that.
like a 12 handicap in ping pong.
No, you're probably better than that.
What would you say yours is?
What do you think Ben is?
Oh, Ben
Crane.
Ben's probably a
scratch, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So wait, maybe we should play. Maybe we'd be equal.
Yeah.
I probably am like I'm. Like
I don't even understand the words you're saying.
Yeah, well,
I don't understand handicaps.
You don't even understand football.
Basically, how good are you at golf?
Yeah.
I gotta say,
rating.
I really appreciate your music. I appreciate your approach to life. It is
so much.
Like because you're big time.
Great.
No, seriously, like you are so I don't know balanced or like it's just you do it because you love it and it's not because you want to be number 1 on the Billboard charts or like that's your goal. It's like you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
So I think that's admirable.
Thanks so much, man. You guys are great. This is awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell Hillary we say hello.
I will.
And if you need a babysitter, we'll take them off your hands anytime.
Whoa, I wouldn't put that on you. That'd be the only time that happened. You'd be like,
I might actually ask for that because I need him to know that.
Yeah. How about this? You guys should just come over and just observe. Okay. Just audit the process.
The twins.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Whoa! That's heavy too.
Oh my god!
I got you,
dude. I was looking at it. I was like,
oh my gosh,
feel like it's secured.